Ryan Blaney wins. Penske is starting to show up at the right time. Also, Hendrick Motorsports made its first appearance of the playoffs speed-wise. And of course, we've got to talk about Denny, Hamlin, and Ty Gibbs. So let's get into it. Coming up next. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, Ryan Blaney wins the race. It locks him in to the round of 8. He doesn't have to worry about Kansas. He doesn't have to worry about the Roval. It is win number 3 on the season, and it is his second win in the last 5 races, so things are definitely going well for him. It is win number 16 on his career. That puts him number 56 all time, where he just surpassed William Byron and Ernie Irvan. He is now one behind Curtis Turner and Marvin Ponch as far as historical record goes as it speaks right now. But to me, the most important part of those statistics were 2 wins in the last 5 races. Ryan Blaney is getting hot at the right time, and you saw a lot of chatter on social media. Is this a preview of Phoenix for the championship playoff race, where you saw all of those Penske cars, and we'll get to that top 10 here in just a minute, all of those Penske cars running really, really well in this race? Is it going to be a repeat of the last couple of seasons, basically? And of course, for Penske starting to show up at the right time as well. They've turned up the wick now that the playoffs are here. Toyota more or less dominated the first round here. Now Ford and Penske with the salvo here in the second round. As things tighten up, as things get closer and closer, it looks like Penske is starting to peak at the right time. But they were not the only organization that may have been, sandbagging, as some people say, because Hendrick Motorsports, they had a good showing as well. And that was a very good thing, and that is very important for Chevrolet because they had looked like non-existent, basically speed-wise, as the playoffs began. You saw some good finishes from Chevrolet cars. You saw some good finishes from Hendrick, but you didn't see the speed. You were never concerned with raw speed that they had any chance of winning this race. Well, today, Kyle Larson looked like the Kyle Larson of old. He went up there, he led some laps. He was able to get things going. Chase Elliott started way back in the field, and actually when the race started, fell back a little bit, but was able to drive his way up and get a good finish. And even Austin Dillon, as far as the Chevrolet camp goes, terrible qualifying. He looked terrible the first half of this race, but they kept working on the car. They kept making adjustments, and he ends up with a good finish. Once again, we'll get to the good race, bad race, and where everybody finished. But overall, it was good to see Hendrick and Chevrolet show up at the right time because it looked for everything in the world that Toyota had found something and these other manufacturers were behind. But on this particular race, which in my opinion is going to simulate at least somewhat what the Phoenix race will look like, all of the manufacturers looked good today, so it's not going to be, like a shootout. Like, it's not probably just going to be a Ford thing or a Toyota thing or a Chevrolet thing. So it was good to see everybody having it together, at this point at least, in the playoffs. Probably the biggest story of this race, however, came before, the first 1/3 of it was even over, and that was between Ty Gibbs and Denny Hamlin. Unfortunate that, you've got a race winner in the playoffs, and we're still going to be talking about a wreck and some drama, but this one definitely has to be addressed because it could possibly have playoff implications. So if you missed it somehow, Denny Hamlin was unhappy with Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs was racing him hard on a racetrack, and Denny Hamlin didn't like that because Denny Hamlin is a playoff driver, and he's going for a championship, and he felt like he was being held back. Him and Christopher Bell, actually, at that point, was being held back by the 54 car. So my first point on this is, let me talk about the playoff aspect of it. This is one aspect of the playoffs I've never really liked. This assumption amongst playoff drivers that they should be treated differently on the racetrack than other drivers. It's one aspect of this deal that I've never really accepted or really gotten, even all the way back to the chase or whatever they called it. I never thought that, just because you're going for a championship, you should be raced differently. You should just get the Olay. Okay, oh, that's a championship driver, I should just let him go by. I've never subscribed to that particular theory. Because at the end of the day, Ty Gibbs is a young kid. He's out here going for his first win. He's trying to finish as high as he possibly can in points. So what is he supposed to do? Just move over and let you go? It's not like he was doing anything particularly dirty, other than, blocking and holding you up. Like, I know that's frustrating and that's irritating, but at the end of the day, you are going for a championship, so what does it really gain you to flat out dump Ty Gibbs, which it looks for all the money in the world that's what Denny Hamlin did. It looks like he dumped Ty Gibbs because he was frustrated and irritated not even 1/3 into this race, and then had some things to say on the radio after the fact, saying that they're afraid to talk to Ty Gibbs over at Joe Gibbs Racing. So the move from Denny Hamlin, in my opinion, wasn't a great one. And here's why. Not only are you going for a championship, and essentially that guy has nothing to lose, so he could make it his life's mission to make sure you don't get your first championship. So from that aspect of it, yes, you are racing for a championship. Actually, you should have raced smarter in that particular situation. The other aspect of it is, yeah, you are teammates, so why did you flat out dump a teammate because you were irritated, even if his name wasn't on the side of the car, his family name on the side of the car? Why would you ever wreck a teammate because you're frustrated they won't let you pass in a race? Like, the whole thing, especially this early in the race, just really did not make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't know why Denny let that get to him that bad. Or is it just the overall pressure of Denny Hamlin not having a championship that just continues to mount season after season, and he starts to get more and more chippy as these things go by? Obviously, there's going to be some Denny Hamlin defenders here saying that Denny Hamlin was in the right, he was being held up, he was going for a championship. That's just not how I see it, because overall, I think he did himself more damage by racing like that, because at any point, Ty Gibbs could, throw up the middle finger and say, you know what, you're not going to win a championship. And Joe Gibbs, to his credit, said he's going to let the drivers handle it on the track between themselves. Which also, I don't know if that's the greatest take from Joe Gibbs there. He probably wants to handle this in-house if I'm him, so we will see what happens with this going forward. If I had to guess, what I think is going to happen is they probably won't do anything during the playoffs, but as soon as Denny Hamlin is eliminated from the playoffs, that's when you might see some Ty Gibbs retaliation. And Ty Gibbs retaliation, I don't think he'll put Denny Hamlin in the wall or anything like that. I think he'll just pass him in basically, a really aggressive, just move him out of the way, pass him kind of way, and then send the message through the spotter. That's probably how all this gets sorted out, unless they actually get it sorted out in the Monday morning meeting. The ultimate way, of course, to get this settled would be to have Ty Gibbs on Denny Hamlin's podcast today, and they just hash it out right there. It would help Denny Hamlin's ratings, and it would clear the air, and everybody would, have their opinion on the public sphere. That would probably be the best way to overall handle this if you're Denny Hamlin. All right, that was probably the big story from the race, but let's get to the top 10 because there's some other stories in here that need to be talked about. Ryan Blaney wins the race, of course, we know that, but Josh Berry here in second place. Josh Berry had a good stage one, accumulated a good amount of stage points there, completely the opposite of how his playoffs had begun. I know he's eliminated now, but this was definitely a redemption arc here. But then in the second stage, him and SVG, he was pinching down SVG. SVG slid up, kind of a racing incident, and we'll talk about SVG here in just a minute. But Josh Berry recovers from that on a track that's really hard to pass and ends up finishing in second place on older tires. He was actually chasing Ryan Blaney down at one point until he overheated those tires, cooked them, then it was kind of over with and donezo, but he made a great race out of it. Almost was the only guy out there that could keep Ryan Blaney in the same area code, especially at the end of the race on long runs, and he had older tires there. So great recovery. It's a little bittersweet, a little too late for his playoff run, but I've never seen anybody have quite as much bad luck as Josh Berry did to start a playoffs, but he looks like him and the Wood brothers have the ship going in the right direction. You always like to see the Wood brothers do well, at least I do. Then you got William Byron here finishing in third. Intentionally left him off when I was talking about the Hendrick stuff earlier today because William Byron's starting to look like the William Byron that won the regular season championship, so good to see him back today as well. Joey Logano had a great run today, a little bit off sequence on the pit strategy. He had a shorter run car than his teammate Ryan Blaney, but a good finish here for Joey Logano. Definitely going to help him going forward. Chase Elliott finishing in the fifth spot. Already touched on him earlier. Then you got Christopher Bell here in the sixth place, and he was looking like early before this race started, he was going to be a lot of people's favorite to win this race. Didn't pan out for him, but getting that sixth place is not bad considering he did take damage in that Ty Gibb, Denny Hamlin incident. Didn't touch on that when I was talking about it earlier, but I should have mentioned it because Denny Hamlin not only wrecked Ty Gibbs, he almost took out his teammate Christopher Bell as well. Christopher Bell sustained a little bit of damage there. The toe was knocked out, but he was able to overcome that and get this 6th place finish. So Bell, on a different day without that damage, maybe he makes more noise and gets closer to the front if that doesn't happen. So also Denny Hamlin probably needs to have a conversation with the 20 car because he did affect his day as well. Which once again is why you don't wreck teammates, because you almost wrecked 2 of them right there and you're going for a championship. All it takes is for them to be eliminated before you and they retaliate, and that's your chance for the championship. So you just got to use your head there if you're the 11 car. And I'm not trying to come down hard on Denny. I just don't understand the move that early in the race to do that when you're going for a title. Then you got Kyle Larson there finishing in the 7th place. Michael McDowell, good run for the Spire Motorsports, number 71, finishing in 8th place. Then you got Ross Chastain and Chase Briscoe in the top 10. 11 through 15 also had some good names. Another good run for Spire. Spire, 2 cars in the top 11 there, with Carson Hocevar finishing 11th. Denny Hamlin ends up 12th after all is said and done. And then Austin Dillon finishing in 13th there. And of course, already mentioned, he started the race off slow and was able to pick up some speed there as it went on, finishing 13th. Ryan Preece, good run for him, 14th. And then Alex Bowman, 15th position. Once again, too little, too late for Bowman. All right, that was the good race. Now let's talk about the bad race. Let's talk about SVG first. He had a good car, qualified well, was running really, really well. The contact with Josh Berry, I feel like that was incidental. That was just a racing incident. One was trying to hold down, one pushed up. That can be chalked up. But then later on in that race, Brad Keselowski ends up trying to make it 3 or 4 wide there on SVG. He hits the inside wall, bumps up, and takes out SVG. So SVG was looking really good on an oval track, but doesn't get the finish he wanted. But you do see the progress there. He's starting to put together the oval tracks for sure, so good on him. But unfortunately, bad race because he didn't get the overall finish that he probably deserved here in this one. And probably worst race has to go to 2311. The 23 car was just never in it. They've had one of the best seasons, if not the best season of Bubba Wallace's career, but the 23 car was never in it today, and the 45 car was out to lunch. They had speed in qualifying. I don't know what happened with the 45 car. I know they had a pit road incident, but I don't think that's where they lost all the speed. They just seemed like they were off today as well. So bad race for 2311, and that will affect them in the points. Speaking of which, it's a good way to just tie into the points. So let's take a look at the points here. And we'll start at the bottom because of the struggles with 2311. Bubba Wallace now minus 27, minus 23 for Tyler Reddick. Austin Cindric at minus 19 and Ross Chastain minus 12. And if you're Austin Cindric on a day where all of the other Penske cars ran really well, this was the worst possible result for you because all the other Penske cars were basically in the top 10 there. You couldn't, your team couldn't get that done. And I know a part of it is they were on a off-sequence tire cycle. They took 2 tires and had some good track position, but then on that sequence where a lot of the cars took 2 tires, they had to take 4 there because they were off-sequence. That is kind of what bit them. But it is unfortunate on a day where all of Penske, it seemed like, had speed. They couldn't capitalize on a day they needed to capitalize, though, as you see where they're at on the cut line. So definitely not a great day for the 2 car either. And once again, it's not because they didn't have speed. He had the speed. He was driving well. It was just they got off kilter on pit stop. So it's more of a team dynamic there where they picked the wrong strategy for this one. Ross Chastain, even with that good run, is minus 12. Chase Briscoe now plus 12, plus 14 for Chase Elliott. Joey Logano plus 24, plus 27 for Denny Hamlin. So he gains technically 1 point from where he started. Plus 29 for Bell, plus 41 and plus 47 for Kyle Larson and William Byron. And of course, Ryan Blaney locked in. So Larson and Byron are pretty comfortable as far as points go. As long as they don't have a catastrophic day, they should be good going forward. Everybody else still has to have good races at Kansas and the Charlotte Roval going forward. All right, that's all I got for you on this one. Hope you have a good rest of your Monday. And until the next one, thanks for your time. Peace.